Two things to say about the White Lotus. Also, if you want a long form version of everything I'm about to say, I am now on YouTube and Spotify. My YouTube username is the same one as here, Tell the Bees with 3 E's, and the pod name is Telling the Bees. The season told us very clearly what it's going to be about, both in its focus on a specific set of characters, and at the very end, when Piper is listening to her Buddhist podcast, she listens to that thing that says, the self is a prison. Both previous seasons of The White Lotus have sort of explored this idea of when you travel, you become a different version of yourself. And I think this is the first season that we are seeing that the self can be rotten. Season 1 was about money and class. Season 2 was about sex, gender, and power. Season 3 is about the spiritual ailments that ail all of us. The idea that you are trapped within yourself, right? There's that very famous quote, wherever you go, there you are. And I think when Chelsea is talking to Walton Goggins' character, for some reason, one of the only characters whose name I don't know, she says, you are a victim of your own decisions, right? When you think about wellness, one of the things is that you're always thinking about purifying. You're always thinking about becoming a new version of yourself. You're always thinking about expunging the things that are dirty and rotten within you and like becoming new. Wealthy white people love wellness because it tells them this is what you can do to become better, right? Think about Goop, right? Gwyneth Paltrow's whole thing, her whole brand ethos is these are the things that you can do to become the best version of yourself. When you think about the Eastern wellness thing, there is this idea of reincarnation in the Thai and Buddhist culture that says you can literally become a new version of yourself. All you have to do is be good in this one. It's these two opposing philosophies where the Eastern Buddhist ideal is saying the identity is a prison, the self is a prison. If you trap yourself in who you are, you will never become better. Whereas the Western philosophy is if you work really hard and you do all of these things and you wear your Lululemon and you drink these juices and you eat kale and you eat quinoa and you get Botox and you change every single thing about yourself to become the best version of yourself, then you will be good. One of the other very strong themes this season is the juxtaposition of masculinity, right? We have Timothy Ratliff, who is very clearly foiled by Walton Goggins' character, right? He is a winner, he is a financier, he is successful, he has a good family, he dresses nicely, he has good manners. Walton Goggins is sort of a mess. He's wearing shirts buttoned down to the belly button, he's sloppy, he's dirty, he's smoking. One of the things that they make point to show us is on the boat, they both think that they are the king of the world. He is sitting with his legs splayed open. He is taking up as much space as possible. Walton Goggins starts smoking. They are very clearly showing us that even though these are two distinct versions of American masculinity, they both think that they're the king of the world. They do not care about other people's space. They do not care about other people, right? Look at the way that he treats his girlfriend. Look at the way that he immediately dismisses the Australian attendant at that villa. She's like, oh, but you can take a test. And he's like, sweetie, you have to get out of here. Saxon, on the other hand, directly foiling his father, is a loser. He is a Nepo baby. He did not work for anything that he has. He got into Duke because he's a legacy, right? His father went to Duke. He works for his father. He dresses like his father. None of the things that he's getting on his own. The only thing that he thinks he can get on his own is women, and he is terrorizing women. Finally, the security guard, whose name I also don't know, I apologize, I'll learn it by next week, they immediately foil him against the bodyguards of Hollinger. They're tough, tattooed bad guys. He has this very innocent little haircut. He has this very innocent little crush on Lisa in your area. And in the episode preview, she says, I thought you were more ambitious. She's very clearly setting him up to go on this journey to become more masculine, to become more of a man. And again, I am not saying this. I am analyzing the text, and we're talking about American masculinity. There is no right way to be a man, etc., etc. The Ratliffs are a physical embodiment of spiritual rot, right? The dad is disappointed in everyone and everything because the only thing that he cares about is making money and bettering himself. It's very that Gio Tolentino essay, always be optimizing. He only cares about going to the gym, making money, and like making himself better. He only cares about his family and how they make him look. Ergo, that's why he wants the youngest son to go to Duke where he went. The mother is completely emotionally absent. Adult children of emotionally immature parents, if you know, you know. She is super dependent on these substances. She is not actually emotionally or mentally present to be there for her children, right? Like I said, Saxon is a loser. Piper is looking for things outside of herself to like make herself feel better. And the youngest son is torn between these two paths. And obviously there's something else going on there that I'm not even going to touch right now. A theory has to be supported by the text, right? I see a lot of videos of people saying, oh, I think Lori is Portia's mom because one of these women said, your daughter seems really cool. First of all, this is the way that a certain class of people speaks to each other. If you've never been around very mean, very rich people, bless your heart, but like it is very clear that these three hate each other. There's no like secret romance going on. There's no like secret prequel situation happening. The idea that the oldest son in the Ratliff family is adopted because you guys are uncomfortable with where the story is going, you can't just make something up and say it's a theory. If it's not supported in the text itself, it's not a theory. You're just saying that. And I said this with House of the Dragon and I got really mad. You guys came for me, but I will stand 10 toes down. You cannot just make something up and say, I think this is a theory. And you also cannot look at what the show is telling you and say, I think this is a theory. They obviously hate each other. It's not a theory to say they hate each other. The show is telling you that they hate each other. Who's your doctor? Who's your doctor? Everything you do seems so hard. The corporate world is so tough. You see how if you change the tone just a little, it becomes very clear that they're dragging each other? I think we don't need to make the show more complicated than it is. There are a lot of red herrings, there's a lot going on, but don't just make something up and be like, guys, I think this is my theory.